ahead now so we can get some footage, but we're going to cover the history before we really start walking around like we did before. Come on, Robin, let's go over the history. And then we'll spread out. She is focused.
Robin.
Lions came up there. So that kind of explains, like it's partially. Robin. She doesn't even want to know the history. She's like, screw it, there's a pirate here.
They wouldn't know how to abbreviate anything, would they? No.
What do you mean?
I don't know. They would try and spell out full words, right?
We've gotten initials. I don't know that I've had an abbreviation before. What's the abbreviation you think you got?
I don't know.
Like LT would be lieutenant.
Okay.
That kind of thing. Like I would take that as maybe something if there was a lieutenant among the history piece that I know here.
Okay.
Robin.
Robin.
Earth to Robin.
She has both earbuds in.
Let's go to her.
I'm hearing a lot of towns.
Like what towns?
Somerville, Mount Pleasant, and Charleston.
Okay, yeah, throw those away. You're listening to Charleston radio stations, it's too easy.
Okay.
We're going to cover the history. We were trying to get your attention.
Okay, sorry.
We're here because of the little tiny building over there. That's the gunpowder magazine. That Lions term is going to make a whole lot of sense here in just a minute.
Okay.
We're here because of the crosses on there. Those are not crosses, those are earthquake bolts. So if you're not familiar with earthquake bolts, they're turnbuckles. So it goes all the way through the roof of the building. So if we have another earthquake like what we did in 1886, which we haven't, you can turn the turnbuckles and it tightens the building so it doesn't incur any further damage. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. You guys have seen them all over town because it's part of our Charleston charm in the shape of lion heads, pineapples, those kind of things. Yeah, that's what those are.
Wow. Okay.
So even the apartment building behind it, you'll see as we get closer to it that there are earthquake bolts on all four sides. It's the weirdest thing, because it just means that turnbuckle goes over cross of another one. So if they tighten them, it's really going to pull in all four sides. But it doesn't actually work, but we still put them in buildings. Don't ask me why. But anyway, we're here because those earthquake bolts that I point out right there are the oldest. Well, they put it in that building because that's the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. So we're here because that building is what I call a familiar. You've seen where they used the teddy bear to attract the child ghost, right? Same principle. This is something Anne Bonny would recognize because it was being constructed at the same time that she was coming here.
I think that's why I heard what I thought sounded like Bonnie.
We've had her full name show up here. So you're actually looking, as if you're going to look at initials, AB for Anne Bonny. You can also look for AC for Anne Cormack, which was her maiden name, or MR. That'll make more sense here in a minute. So the building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like the government small building 10 years? No, not at all. So Anne actually came here right in the middle of its construction. So 1708. Follow me. There's a lot of twists in this story. We're talking about a female Irish pirate.
She didn't like it.
She didn't like what?
She didn't like the building.
No, she may not have. It was a government building. So, but again, this is one of the spots where she's said to be seen often, and we do get a lot of answers here. Young lady back in Ireland named Anne Cormack, like I've already mentioned, moves here with her dad and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Are you with me so far? The three of them are running away from her father's angry wife. How pissed was she that they had to leave Ireland by boat to come here? They land in Georgetown. It's just north of here, as I've already mentioned. But Dad bought a plantation up there, and Mom died pretty quickly. That means he's sending young Anne down here to sell anything from that plantation to help keep things afloat. So, hence the familiar building. Go back to Ireland for just a minute. When Anne was just a little girl, they say she was a badass even back then. At the age of 7, 8, 9 years old, remember it's pirate lore, they say she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. We've had the terms servant, knife, belly from 3 different devices all come through in the same evening. So take that for what it's worth. Yeah, very cool stuff when that stuff occurs. I'm like, oh yeah, Anne, give us more. But anyway, back to Anne. Fast forward, the building's done in 1713. Pirates are starting to come through Charlestown in 1715. Anne is stoked because she's going to fall in love so she can earn her freedom, just like a man. First guy she falls in love with. I said first because there's a handful, and we're going to go through every one of them. That's what makes the story fun. First guy is James Bonny. Dad didn't approve because he's a filthy pirate. They ran away to Jamaica. They got married, and Cormac is now Anne Bonny. That's where the name comes from. However, James Bonny is not Captain Jack Sparrow like what she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer. He's a spy for the British. He's a coward. This is not who she wants. A few years later, she falls in love again. This is John Rackham. They call him Calico Jack. This is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off of, just so you guys know who this person is. Jack has his own crew, he has his own ship, and wants to be on that ship. You can't put a female on a pirate ship because it's bad luck. So, I normally give that question to you guys, like, anybody know why? And I get some really nasty, raunchy answers. I'm like, wow, guys, slow down, family friendly here. But anyway, it's bad luck. He makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and look like the crew, you can actually be part of the crew, but you're going to be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this. Why? Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to hide her from his wife. She gets it. Let's do this. Put two and two together. She's a female in his quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl. He drops her off in Cuba before she starts the show and says, have the baby here, come back later, we'll figure it out. She goes and has the baby, returns with no baby. I have no idea what happened to this child. So ask all you want to, you may get answers, I just can't prove it. So when she comes back, she's dressed like a female, makes Jack angry. He captured another pirate crew while she was gone. They're down below deck. She's going to go flirting because she wants to make him even more mad. We're on guy number 3, in case you lost track. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a male, to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack just captured. Sounds like you heard this story before. Kind of?
Kind of, yeah.
So her name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed, M.R., to become a pirate. Her and Mary became friends, possibly lovers. We're not going to really know for sure, but the British found out where they are. They sent a fleet of ships after one pirate ship. The rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up with their 1-bullet flintlocks to fight, obviously, the British Navy. That's not going to work out very well for them, so they get arrested. As they're being arrested, she looks at her captain, Jack, and says, I'm sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog. The word dog shows up here a lot, just so you guys know. I'm giving you guys that one now. It's an easy grab because that one does show up here a lot. But the judge wants to see the 2 men that fought back so valiantly on their own. Calico Jack and the drunk pirates, dead and gone, already tried and hung. Anne and Mary go in front and reveal their gender. The judge doesn't give a shit that they're female. He's still going to hang them. They're still pirates. We plead our bellies was the last thing they shouted because you can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails her out, brings her back home, and she remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4, because we're going to count Mary, we don't really know. She has 4 kids, dies at the age of 84. That's all we know. So, some say that she actually went up to Virginia, some say she stayed here. Take your pick. Again, there's a lot of speculation on what happened to her after her pirate career, but it's pretty much irrelevant. Mary Reed died a few months later in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates died from in a Jamaican jail. Most books will tell you that it was something very simple, like fever. I say let's make it romantic and call it scurvy. Why the hell not? It's pirates. Let's do this, right? So, a few things I left out of here on purpose. I left out the names of Anne Bonny's parents. That's the father and the mistress. I also left out the name of Calico Jack's ship. I left out the name of the city where Anne grew up, in Ireland. So I was waiting for you to kind of give that to me when you said you heard a lot of cities. I didn't know if you were already getting things.
I think I was. I mean, it just was going through a bunch of things, and the only ones that were clear was I heard Pleasant, not Mount Pleasant. I just assumed.
Caught the back end of Mount Pleasant. Yeah. And I also left out Anne Bonny's hair color, which is red. I'll give you that one too. So, so with yours, Cheryl, you can actually ask her. That's only 3 letters. The funny thing is how I learned about like what we were getting out of it was somebody was struggling with a spirit box one night, which it's not easy to do. Some people just struggle all night long. So I was like, all right, let's go after a simple 1-syllable answer, like, hey, Ann, tell us your hair color. And the EMF detector with the motion sensor in it went directly to red. The only way to make that thing go to red is to actually touch it. So, and it's usually a human hand. So I was like, all right, maybe it's just the spot we're in. So we tried it in every corner and faucet of this whole location, every single time on command. Never any other time. That night. It did happen a few weeks, maybe a few months after that again, but again, it was very odd, and it was only on command. So, again, take that for what it's worth. We're going to spread out in this location. Again, we got plenty of space. Keep mindful of the other tours. The biggest orb I ever caught, we actually just caught another one. It was really small. Was over by that wall. And when I say it's the biggest orb, it was bigger than my head, coming right at me. I was demonstrating how to use laser grids, and somebody was using that camera. It came at me and then turned and then went up and disappeared in frame.
Wow.
Like, it was giant.
Okay.
So, again, K-index is low. I don't know, we were getting high EMF earlier, by the way. Keep in mind we do have 2 electrical poles in the corners, so don't get too excited. The closer you get to those bushes on the other side of the lot from us, you're going to start to see little tiny spikes. So like between like 2 to 5 because of the parking meters on the other side and the electrical poles in the corners. It's usually this back half where I get excited about EMF. I don't think you need to reset your letters too.
Yeah.
How you doing on yours? Do you have anything? Or are you focused on this?
Hi, Ann. Show me. It's okay. getting any EMF readings.
I'm not getting anything either. Not that I can tell.
But they're done when we first got here, I got the line. Why?
Oh, wait. I don't know what an orb looks like, but that's, see, I'll look up. See, it don't look the same over here.
And it's usually a ball of light.
Okay, like bright ball of light.
No, it's like a circle.
Okay.
I haven't had
Like it'll come up in here, like a circle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a glowing ball. Glowing around.
So that was the story. Like that's like I felt that here, and it's like there's something that's always drawn me.
Ladies, talk to me. What do we got? Anything?
Pretty quiet.
There's a surge
Yeah.
in here.
Nothing on this. And since Lions, I really haven't had anything
Okay.
communicating with me.
Well, we were chatting, so I'm going to give her a few minutes to see if she gets anything out of it. I'll surprise you with the last stop. That's a good one. First line again, guys. Well, there's something on here I should probably tell you guys about, but I'll wait till everybody's back together again. There's literally like 15 stories on this corner. Like every ghost tour comes over here for some specific part of it. I try to stick to just one until the evidence tells me where else I need to go. But we're going to cover another piece of history that's actually in the location. Because there's so much here. Specifically the letters SHH together.
Okay.
That's consecutively. I want to see if that pops up. And here we go with some of the priority terms of the word ocean. We get a lot of aquatic terms when we're here. Again, it's not always a direct answer. It could just be a theme. I don't know if you've ever experienced that before on your excursions with your team that you were working with.
Mm-hmm.
Where you just see kind of the same theme of the same thing.
Yeah. I remember specifically color brown kept on coming up. Brown.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Brown.
So when you guys get your data page back in the morning, there's a field guide at the top. Remember that most people that come to see me have never done this, so I had to create something, because not everybody's going to have that camera, not everybody's going to have a spirit box. So it kind of gives them a quick tutorial on how to go through each piece, but I put the evidence in there, so that way with this particular camera, I put the giant orb that I talked to you about earlier, like that's on there just so you know what to look for kind of thing. And then the list of criteria that I go through to determine whether it was an insect flying by or if it was something legit.
Gotcha.
I mean, I will literally freeze frame it, frame by frame by frame by frame by frame, watching motion, looking at shape. You know, does it change? Is it misty? Is it see-through? Is it solid? Like, I'm looking at every fine detail. Anything?
No, but I'll say, you know, I know at the beginning of the tour you were like, oh, we don't talk about religion.
A lot of religious terms?
Yeah.
It
Well, no,
happens-
but it's been since the beginning.
Oh, okay.
Like this whole, like I've heard.
You said walking with the Lord earlier.
Yeah, I've heard some things. Like it's weird. Like
So with St. Philip's, we normally will start to, like, this is where people start telling me that they're hearing religious terms, and the weird thing is the word theological.
I haven't heard that.
That's on my word list. We're near the church. It makes sense then.
Yeah, I would figure that, and then that's why I kind of put two and two together. But the same thing is, it's like right when you said that, when you started walking at the beginning, that's where I was like, okay.
You're also
and
in
then
the Bible
we got to
Belt,
that
so you're going to
parking
get a lot of
lot.
those evangelists and those kind of things.
Okay.
With Eliza, you may get a few things, like that weird thing of the illusion of the afterlife.
That was weird.
That was weird. But walking with the Lord, and Eliza was a religious person. Obviously, the mummification.
Like the persecution I said, or something like that. But he was like, I was like, ooh.
But I do have purifying on my list. That came up through a walk. Anything else crazy on there that I need to know?
I keep hearing a lot of numbers.
Like what?
97 was the number.
Okay.
There was a percentage, like 12% or something. Like I can't remember. But I keep getting a lot of numbers.
Can't put anything on that list. 12. No other letters are showing up for you at all?
Well, I mean, that made any kind of sense, just the lions.
Yeah, that Lions was cool.
Yeah.
It's almost like they knew I was about to tell you about earthquake reports. You can continue to record, but we're going to come over to this wall. I want to cover the answers. Nothing specific is really blowing up. I do want to tell you about I do have the phrase "my baby" on my word list, and we do get the specific things around this baby story at this location. It doesn't deal with Aunt Bonnie. Every ghost tour ends their tour with this story. That's why I don't tell it, because you've probably heard it before if you've been on another ghost tour in Charleston. But across the street, there's a sign right inside the cemetery.
Oh, yeah, I've heard this one.
It says there's no ghost here but the Holy Ghost. The reason for that is because in 1888, a young lady died by the name of Sue Howard Hardy, which is why I had the initials SHH looking for it. But it's also very, when I did tell this story, I'm like, all right, it's kind of creepy. But anyway, she died 6 days after her stillborn child. 1987, 99 years later, somebody took a picture, a photographer putting a book together, and he captures a full apparition in one of his photos. If you go ahead and look into the top 50, top 100 apparitions, this photo is usually in there.
The garage, right? The parking garage area? Or
It's inside the cemetery. So, however, the picture's cursed,
That's right.
which is another reason why I don't always show the photo. It's cursed to females. Said to handle it, even in a digital format, like, you're going to touch my tablet or handle it on your phone. Same symptoms we talked about at the beginning: the headache, the nausea, the dizziness. Pregnant females probably not going to have a good pregnancy based on the gist of the story of the stillborn child. So the only thing I ask, especially with you three being female, don't touch my damn tablet. So I'm going to show you the photograph. I'll zoom in on it so that way you can actually see the apparition. In the event that I actually give you a link to this, it will say warning curse link. So have somebody else open it for you, because again, I do this for a living. I don't need you guys coming back 9 months later after somebody had a great vacation or a great honeymoon and I curse somebody's family, if you guys get my point.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to that route. Let's see.
I just heard lethal.
What?
Lethal.
Lethal.
So this is the full picture that he took. The apparition
that's right,
is
yeah.
right here. So this is Sue's grave. That's her headstone, but you're looking at her back.
Mm-hmm.
And there's
she's praying
she's
over
praying.
it.
Right.
over it.
And there's a baby basket right next to it. If you blow it up even further on a computer screen, you can actually see the weaving of the basket. Like, it's pretty detailed. But he sent this picture over to Kodak to try to get it debunked. Good, I don't have to explain what Kodak is to this group.
Yeah.
Kids think it's a bear.
Oh, gosh.
They started on the damn teenage millennials. But anyway, Kodak was able to authenticate that the picture hadn't been messed with and that it came from the camera that he said that it did. So, again, take that for what it's worth. But again, you go into top 50, top 100 apparitions ever caught, that's usually in there. But the phrase "my baby," that always shows up if hopefully there's something else going on. And if I used to mess up the story and call her Susan. Sue is what her name was. What's weird is the one night we actually had her full name with her maiden name in there. So it was Sue Walker Hardy. Wait a minute. Walker Howard Hardy. So we had all of the names show up on spirit boxes that night.
Wow.
Like, it was crazy. So kind of take that for what it's worth. Oh, I still need a towel for Anne Bonny. This is very quick, and I'll explain what the next space is actually going to be, because again, it's going to be a little bit different than what we're doing here. One of the few pictures of Anne Bonny you can find with a shirt on. The reason why is because she used to bare a breast to show men that they were just killed by a woman. I told you this chick was badass.
Yeah.
Names of her parents: William Cormack, Mary Brennan. You have to imagine when I have my 4 to 5 spirit boxes out in the field, it's only one person that comes back and says, I just heard the phrase William and Mary. It comes back as one phrase. Kind of a clue like, yep, those are the parents. So, and Mary Brennan was actually a servant for the Cormack family. So that's a whole another 30-minute scandal we're not getting into. And as far as it was not another subliminal trick with the name Mary, because we did have Mary Reed from earlier, it just so happens that there's 2 different Marys in the story. Calico Jack. Calico Jack, everybody wants to see what they base Johnny Depp off of, right? Mm-hmm. So Calico Jack was named that because of the jackets he wore. They came from the British captains that he killed. So his father was a tailor, so he knew his textiles pretty well. Calico Jack translates to fancy jacket. That's where the name came from. The name of his ship was called the Kingston. So I don't normally expect the word Kingston to come out of our radio stations, but the word king would suffice. I do have another spirit box that picks up more disembodied voices because it works a lot differently. It works off of both AM and FM and takes out the white noise in between the stations. So we have gotten close to Kingston in the past out of that one. But the word king, this is where we have to mix our tech. I mean, even the word king being spelled out on your Ouija board is only 4 letters versus the 7 that it would take to, you get my point. So it would be a direct answer. I'd be okay with that. By the way, the name of the city where Anne Bonny grew up in Ireland was named Cork. So it's Cork County. Yeah. So what's weird about how I learned more about Calico Jack, it was Thanksgiving time, and somebody had a spirit box in, and before I even got started with the story, somebody heard the phrase rack of ham. John Rackham's last name is spelled Rackham. So it was I was like, oh, okay, I'll take it. But this is another space, you guys will probably find this interesting just based on who you are. But this space is another reason why I give the heated warning like I do at the top of the pool. One night, September, a year and a half ago, whatever it was, I brought my group to the back just to where we started, and the kid next to me literally goes white as a ghost. I call him a kid, he's probably 21, 22 years old. I have to pick him up by his armpit because he's fainting. So his boyfriend picked him up on the other side of him. We brought him over to this wall, got him feeling better with a bottle of water. I then told the story of Anne Bonny, and I already told you. Again, it's important to know they don't know shit yet. This used to be the last stop. So I spread everybody out. I told 2 or 3 stories here. Go have fun. Let me know what you find at the cemetery and come back. These 2 guys pull me aside and say, Nick, we have to tell you, we are 2 transgender males. I had 2 females dressed as males, just like Anne and Mary in the story on the tour.
Holy crap.
And it made sense kind of made sense as to why one of them passed out as soon as we got here. I have also had other females that can't make it past that corner where we came in. Like, they're like, I'm not going in there. Like, are we going in there? I'm like, yeah. They're like, and heart palpitations, like the whole 9 yards. It's happened on more than one occasion. But again, this transgender kid, I can't explain it. That's why I give that heated warning. Psychics and mediums normally don't make it past the Pinckney Mansion site. So when you were starting to not feel well, that's why I was like, let's move to the other wall. Let's see what we can do over here. So it was kind of like, let's get you shuffling around. I normally won't give a practicing psychic a spirit box. It's too many different types of messages, and they're going to go down. Like, they're going to be on a gurney in 10 minutes. It's just they can't handle it. So
the funny thing is I was dizzy, and like I was telling her, I was like, feel like I'm walking sideways all the way till we got here. This was completely opposite.
I feel heavy.
This is a weird space.
Yeah. I mean, I don't, like, it's weird because I feel fine now.
Now, wait till we get to the next one. So, we're going to do the Estes method at the next location.
I don't know what that is.
Are you familiar with the Estes method? I'm going to blindfold her and put noise-canceling headphones on her.
Oh,
Okay.
Sweet.
Okay.
She's not
I
going to
do know that method.
So, if anybody else would like to, I can do doubles. I do have a set for 2. That means only one person is going to know the history of the location, and 2 people will be under, and you'll have to know the history tomorrow morning when I give you the data back, because I'm not going to repeat it twice. So it's a lot of fun. It's a hit or miss kind of deal. And it is a new space for me. The fun thing is I don't know everything. I'm learning more about this place by talking to that ghost through my guests as kind of a channeling. So if somebody else, if you guys want to do rock, paper, scissors, she's like jumping on it already. She's
Yeah, I want to do it.
You go ahead.
Next. Next.
Robin and I will do it.
Okay, so you're going to know the history from the space. Again, it's very quick. It's like 5 minutes. I don't like to leave I normally only do it with 4 or more, but I figured you guys would really get a kick out of this. That's only because I don't like to leave a person alone on the bench where I'm going to seat you. And like, hey, somebody's got to sit with you. But if I have a group of 10, because I have 2 of those that are handed out, I pick those 2 people from the beginning who's going to get it at the end. If they struggle with this in between from here to there, I switch it up. Like, hey, why don't you give that to a family member? See how they do with it. And I normally do it here to see if somebody else is picking up on how to listen to it better. Because again, if you struggle with it all night, that's pointless. You're not going to hear anything. So it's a lot of fun, but again, you 2 aren't going to know the history until tomorrow morning. She's like, yeah, I'm cool with it. We'll be able to tell them straight up if it's legit or not. All right, let's go play around with some blindfolds. Sounds like fun, right?
I find actually like seeing that very fascinating.
Yeah, the Essence Method, I started doing this, I don't know, 2 months ago or so. With this particular location, just because I thought we'd be able to get more out of it than what we were getting. And there are some nights where I have 10, 15, 20 answers that were correct, and they were direct answers. Other nights, absolutely nothing makes sense.
Wow.
So again, it's complete hit or miss. But it's so much fun, even partake on the outside, because you're going to know the history.
Right.
We're going to be walking about 2.5 blocks. I didn't know if you wanted to stop that. Stop your video. Got it? Perfect. So just kind of get a quick lap to see if you can get any readings out of it. And I'll start packing some of this stuff up, and then we'll get you guys back to your car by the Pinky Mansions.
That was trippy.
Mm-hmm. There's the bells again.
Yeah, some of the stuff like songs or something, I was just like, what are they trying to tell me?
He kept on asking what his son's name was, but he didn't tell us. But then y'all said my baby, and I was like, oh my God.
Oh, got cold chills now. That is quite the sensation.
I know. That sucks.
See, now I feel like we can't do any other ghost story because like he's ending.
Yeah.
Let us please.
Yeah, because the other ones are just telling you the story.
Yeah. I haven't had any big readings since that first parking lot. It's crazy. I'm thirsty too.
Mm-hmm. Whoa, wait, I got something that came through this camera.
I got a spike. It was like...
Yeah, it came across fast too.
It did. Like it... Was it going this direction?
Yes.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Like it went over there. Oh my God, that was freaky. And I'm... Oh, my arm hairs are sticking up on end from that. Like that was fast.
Yes, it was. But I saw it go across.
Like it came from that wall area.
It did. It did.
Is it with his...
Whoa. Is that?
No, that's a glare.
Okay.
But something happened right as we were going from, like, going around the bend because this thing spiked up. And now. Yeah, so something weird happened when we were coming around, like, past that monument thing over there.
Yeah.
Something went, like...
Quick.
Click here, there to there. This shot up. I got, like... My hairs were sticking up on end, and she may have caught something on there.
Nice.
It spiked, and then it just dropped. Like,
how high did it go?
It was like at least 15, from 0 to 15.
That's still pretty decent.
Like something.
And I could have swore I saw something in here, but it went quick in this lens.
Well, I put that camera, when somebody's using it all night long, I don't always follow up with it in real time because it's so damn small. I put it up on YouTube, and I watch it on a large computer screen.
Yeah.
So that's what I expect
I don't
you
know,
guys
but
to
see,
do.
like as soon as I was like, whoa, and she's like, whoa, like I saw this jump while but it was like at that corner.
The period guard over there?
Yeah.
Like that.
As we were rounding around that corner, and then we even walked back and came back again, nothing. But it's almost like it went this direction across, and it was just moving. But yeah, my hand.
The triple digits that we've had with your device have been in the grassy areas, and it's gone all the way to 167. That's the highest reading I have from this location.
I didn't go in the grass areas.
And it's never in the same grassy area. That we've had it here, we've had it there, here, and it's all on different layers. Like I have one in one space and not in the other.
That was just so cool.
some good footage?
I hope so.